everyone, thanks for clicking on today's video. My name is Sissy and I love arts and crafts and sharing my silly thoughts on random things. I've done a couple of resin arts in the past, but always under supervision, which I do not have in today's video background. I'm on my own, which is not always a good idea. I think resin art and designs are beautiful and it always looks so impressive when I watch them on YouTube, so I grabbed a simple, cheap kit and thought I'd attempt it myself today. Do you guys ever get an idea or vision in your head and think how it's going to look gorgeous when you create whatever that vision is? I do that all the time and it almost never comes out what I think it should look like in my head. I get frustrated and annoyed and, to be honest, embarrassed because I feel like I should be able to do this, right? Well, I feel like that whenever I'm painting, especially, which is probably why I always gravitate back to knitting because I feel like I can usually execute what was in my head. Not always, but there is a higher probability of that than when I paint. And I have a sinking feeling that the resin art is going to look like my painting. We shall see. It was fun to do this little kit, but of course, the wood piece grid did not look anything like the picture on the box, and the resin spilled out of the little honeycomb spaces, so I decided to spread it all over the place. It looks unique. Artistic? Maybe let's not be that generous. After the resin dried, it was definitely lacking, so I decided to paint some lines and swirls and colors around the honeycomb. It came out interesting, to say the least. I'm still not quite sure how I feel about it, and I know it doesn't look great, but it was fun mixing and pouring the resin. I tried to work quickly because I had heard that resin hardens so fast, but I think I probably could have taken a little more time. Oh well. At some point, I'd like to try a real grown up version of resin art and see what I can make. You know what I love? Do you ever see those TikToks or YouTube shorts where these incredible wood makers, I think they are, is that the word? Carve these gorgeous tables and then use resin to fill them in the middle, making what look like oceans or lake scenes? I think that is incredibly cool, and I'd love to attempt something like that by taking a class on it if that's available and learning how the masters do it. I don't know if I'd want a table like that per se, but I think watching that process is so cool. Or like when an artist takes a bunch of pencils, for example, carves a vase out of them, and then uses epoxy resin to fill in the cracks, it creates this really pretty art piece. I think that's cool too. Although I think I should probably leave the vase and table carvings to the professionals. Let's dive into today's topic. One thing I enjoy doing to unwind is watch videos about people's homes around the world. And I'm not just talking about the luxury, ginormous homes. I admit I enjoy watching those too, but I'm also talking about everyday apartments and dwellings of regular people. Back to the luxury houses, though, are they not absolutely ridiculous? Like, seriously, when I was a kid, I used to dream of living in a castle, specifically Cinderella's or Beauty and the Beast castle. I wasn't picky, okay? I used to look at this old website back in the early days of web browsing called, I think it was literally called castlesforsale.com. I wonder if it's still around. And I dream of having the biggest house possible where I could run from room to room and yell out and see if I could hear myself echo. But now, as an adult, I look at something like that and go, Cinderella, sweetie, you're going to be spending your entire life dusting that thing. I know she has servants, and I know that people who can afford those massive houses also have housekeepers, but that's not the point. I also am notorious for misplacing things, and if I set something down in one of my 793 bedrooms, it will be gone. Forever. Guaranteed. Also, like, imagine how much it costs to decorate some massive mansion, and the property taxes, and the maintenance. And what about paying for the gardeners and the sexy pool boys? Far too much work. I overheard my husband the other day watching a video on some ridiculous mansion in Beverly Hills, and I heard him say, the dining room is okay, but I don't like the furniture. I started laughing out loud. I'm sure we all do this, but it was very funny hearing my husband remark on a house that is probably on sale for $1 bajillion and saying, well, that's nice, but that furniture that comes with it is a deal breaker for me. I actually love when we talk about extravagant houses as if we can afford them. I feel like even if I had the money, I would want a decent sized piece of land in the middle of nowhere where my closest neighbor is like 3 miles away and we ignore each other and I can have a cute, tiny little log cabin with a bedroom and a bathroom. That's it. That's what I'd like. And maybe a fancy sofa that's comfy. That's what I would splurge on if I had the money. I feel like as fun as those massive houses might be in theory, actually having one is way too much work. No, what I really love to watch are the unique homes around the world that the average person might live in. I'm actually super claustrophobic. I even freak out a little if I'm in a tiny bathroom stall for too long. But you want to know what my favorite videos are about in the housing market? Ironically, it's the teeniest, tiniest apartments, especially in super populated countries like Japan, for example. I don't know what it is. I'm just fascinated by the idea of living in such a small space and the ability to make these places livable. I find it awesome. And the fact that there are unique homes around the world makes me think what cool humans can be in terms of creativity and making unusual spaces work. I also love to see the differences in the way people live from my country and other countries around the world. Like, I forget which country it was, but I think there's one in the far north. I want to say maybe the Netherlands or Denmark or Finland. I truly apologize if I'm totally off, where it's common to find homes with saunas in them, which I think is an incredible idea, and I want one. If I live in a place cool enough for one someday. I live in a sauna like climate right now and definitely don't need one, trust me. Something that makes me very aware of how American I am is the differences shown among refrigerators. My fat butt is sitting there thinking, how in the world do these people in what seems like every country but the US make do with a mini fridge? I had a mini fridge in my dorm room in college for my snacks because there were some days I couldn't be bothered to walk the 300 feet to the cafeteria. I know that a lot of people live in close proximity to places where they can get food on a near daily basis, so they don't need a massive fridge. And I think that's so cool, but I still laugh at myself when I think, gee, I wonder how they do their Costco runs. Another thing that I'm actually kind of envious of are the washer dryer combos. Why can't we have that here? I have a huge washer and dryer and have to have a separate laundry section. I have a closet with hookups. And sometimes I wish I had just the one and done combo washer dryer to put smaller loads in more often. Now, I don't want you to think I'm complaining. I do like my giant machines and they are useful, especially for washing my bed sheets. I wonder how you get those bed sheets in the little washer and dryers. Laundromat, maybe? I don't have a comforter, just a quilt, so I can even wash that in my machine, which is cool. But I guess I just like the efficiency of the smaller washer dryer combos and the placement of them. It seems like they are often in the kitchen instead of a separate area, which is interesting and makes sense. You're already washing your dishes, might as well wash your clothes. I know that not all homes have the luxury of a washer and dryer. I've lived in apartments that did not have them, so it is nice when one can have them. One thing I don't think I can live without, though, is a bathroom. I've seen some videos where the apartment is so small, there isn't even a bathroom. I forget where I saw it, but I saw an apartment in another country that didn't have a bathroom, and you had to walk across the street and down the block to the library to use the public bathroom. I'm thinking to myself, as one who often gets up to pee in the middle of the night, what then? What would you do if you have to pee after hours? I'm not sure I'd be able to handle that. My husband suggested adult diapers, but I'm not ready for that. I could figure out a cooler or a mini fridge. I could even hand wash my stuff in the sink or use a laundromat, but no bathroom? Mm-mm. I would have to do some serious thinking about whether I really liked the location or not. That's another thing, the location. I used to watch the show House Hunters International, and it would fascinate me the people they would get to be on those shows. Honestly, they would make Americans look stupid most of the time for their insistence on American things like a large fridge or separate laundry room, and then expect to be super close in their commute but have a massive home or something. Now, I admit my husband and I strongly considered location in our current home as we wanted to be less than 15 minutes from work. Yes, location is important, but I do think that a lot of factors need to be taken into account, and you can't have everything. It's either the massive house with a laundry room an hour and a half away, or the small bedroom apartment with a mini fridge 5 minutes from work, Karen. You can't always have both. Now, if you can have both, incredible, fantastic, good for you, but we all know that's not always the case. Do you enjoy watching house videos? What are some of your favorites? And do you have a dream home? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. I hope you enjoyed this video and thank you so much for listening. Please like and subscribe. Have an amazing day, and I'll talk to you again soon.